What's up, guys? Jordan and Ben here, back on another episode. This one's going to be pretty exciting. We are on the road. As you can see, it's not the nicest day. We got the trailer loaded up, and we're about an hour and a half into a journey so far. Got another couple hours to go. So we are going up to see our really good friends, Steve and Zane, who we met at Percolilly. And they have got something very special. And we are hopefully going to make a deal and become the new custodian of something very special. I won't spoil it yet because it's been sitting under a tarp in a shed for a very long time. Nothing's been moved, so we get to it's going to see the light of day today for, not sure actually how long it's been, but I'm sure it's been over 10 to 15 years from what I know. So, but we'll ask Zane when we get up there. But got a couple more hours on the road to go, and you guys will be able to see something very exciting soon. Well, we're back in the car. We've just got everything loaded up. Now the proud owner of a really nice 29 Roadster on 32 rails with a really cool tri-power setup on a 302 Windsor. It's a lot of history in this car, and it was a privilege to sit down with Steve and Zane and have a few beers and a little barbecue, and they shared a lot of stories about the car and their journeys in it, and like doing 1,000 kilometers a day. And they drove it over east to Lake Gardner twice together, and Zane used to race it a fair bit. And it seems like what we've tracked so far is that the body is actually Canadian, which is really neat. And it's it's been around a long time, so it's definitely got like a lot of WA history, which is really, really cool. So I think it'll be nice to try and toast that and create something really cool. You can see it. It's sitting on the back of the trailer. You might be able to see it on the back there. Back of the car is full of parts. We ended up getting a whole lot more than we anticipated, so it worked out really well. So we got a three and a bit hour drive back down south, and then we'll kind of show you guys as we unload it, and we'll dig through a few more parts and get into a bit more detail about it. All right, so road trip's over. We're back. It's the next day, and we've just kind of come in with fresh minds, having a fresh pot of coffee. And yeah, it's pretty nice to kind of see it in the workshop and, you know, introducing the car to its new home. Great to catch up with Steve and Zane. Those two guys, father and son, absolute heart of gold, both of them. We first met them up at Percolili, and we were actually camping beside them by fluke, and we knew them through mutual people but had never actually met them. Right away sparked conversation, and basically for the rest of the trip we were hanging out with them the whole time. It's kind of really special to be able to be the kind of caretakers of this, I suppose.
Custodians?
Yeah, the custodians. With the history that it has, especially in Western Australia, and it's been around for a really long time. So it's in here. We've kind of looked at it a little bit. This is obviously the state that it's been sitting in since 2000, I think, under that tarp that you guys saw us pull off, which was really cool. And it's got some numbers on it. Steve drove it a long time as a daily driver, and then Zane ended up getting a bit of the itch for drag racing, which everyone usually does. And then it evolved, as you saw. We pulled the cage out. And kind of all the race spec stuff. So we're kind of trying to bring it back to that streetable use. One thing is really cool that is obviously very prominent on this car are these flames. These flames were done by the King of Flames, very well known in Western Australia. I'm only learning this just recently, so I'm sure there's a lot of guys that really know the history of him. Mutual friends to Steve and Zane. But yeah, he passed away many years ago, but he was super talented and was kind of like doing a lot of real hand-done stuff kind of early days, and like creating things that look old and the cracking of paint, which is kind of now something that's become quite popular, especially in the chopper world, where guys are getting their tanks done to look old with the cracks and the bleeding and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat to see it, you know, that was done back in the day. Unfortunately, it's hard to keep all bits that we're trying to preserve, and we're not necessarily trying to preserve this thing as it is sitting. We want to transform it a little bit, but obviously keeping small bits and pieces on the car that still signify, you know, what it was back then. But unfortunately, one of the things that has to go are the flames. And I think that's cool. Chris made a fair point and said, you know, the flames suited the car when it was owned by them. And now that we're kind of the new owners of it, we're going to change a few subtle things without bastardizing it too much. As much as I do have respect for him, and I think they're amazing, and I've seen a lot of the work that he has done, and it's pretty crazy. He was definitely very talented. But yeah, it's this is kind of the state that it's been in. It's got a set of 16 or 15-inch modified rear 35 wires that go on it as well. What we wanted to show you, we had to play around off camera just with a set of wheels and tires and removing the flames. And we're going to spin it around and show you how fast this thing can transform into something that essentially still has the profiles, but with small details can completely change the way it looks. That coffee's got me going.
Margaret River Roasting.
So there you have it. A very small transformation into something that, yeah, I think we both really like the way it looks so far. Just with a set of, it's crazy what a set of wheels and tires do. Completely transforms the entire car. And the flames, I mean, as much as I really like them, they just, for kind of what we're going for, they weren't going to cut it, unfortunately. We're going to start off with front to back. This is a 29 Roadster original steel body that did come from Canada. I cannot remember what the gentleman's name is that did bring it in. He now lives back in Canada, but was really good mates with all these guys in Perth, and he brought quite a few in. I think there was a story of it being stolen at one point. The motor was found many years later, and it's a Hemi motor that actually isn't far away from here now. And the guys got it, but yeah, I think there was some, it's kind of gone through a bit of crazy stuff, which is pretty cool. Original 32 frame that has definitely had some modifications. As you can see, the back has kind of been inboarded for bigger, fatter tires. And it has been boxed. It's got a Model A cross member that's been modified. Aluminum I-beam, which is really cool. And it's like basically brand new. It's got a set of disc brakes on the front. I think they're from like an XB. They're probably gonna go. I know many people say that disc brakes are better on these things, but traditionally speaking, you can definitely run a nice set of drum brakes on the front. We're gonna put F1 brakes on the front, so they are still Bendix style. So they will match the rear, and being this little of a car and how light it is, the brakes will easily be able to stop the small 302. So I don't think there'll be any issues there. We got another grille mocked up. It did originally come with a Model A grille. We are going to 32. The motor is a 302 Windsor. I think when we were originally going up there, we were speaking about putting in a flathead and fully traditionalizing it similar to my Roadster. But after looking at it and kind of hearing the story of the motor and how many miles they did on it, and they did tons of west to east trips and back, Lake Gardner and et cetera. So I think it was just kind of fitting to like keep the motor in there. It's got a really neat sort of, I guess you'd call it a homemade tri-power setup with 3 94s on it. The mid plate between the carburetors and the intake, Zane is a cabinet maker by trade, and he actually made the buck and got it casted. And then they worked out a full progressive linkage setup, and apparently it ran like a top, which is really, really cool. I think Steve made the set of extractors, which are really neat, but they're probably gonna get hung on the wall for kind of what we wanna go with it. It's got a HQ steering box and a 4-link kind of setup on the front. We're probably gonna change the 4-link to more of a traditional hairpin style, similar to what Kyle's got on the coupe on the hoist. Yeah, just trying to kind of simplify the front a little bit without losing any of the integrity of stopping and handling. Moving through to the body, it's been sectioned the floor down a little bit lower. It does have a 4-speed box in it now, but we do have a rebuilt C4 that will probably go in just to make it comfortable to drive as a daily driver. I think it's pretty special. And the coolest bit is that I'm pretty sure the Roadster fever sort of weared off and got on to Ben, because Ben's been always talking about a Roadster, and his favorite one is a 32, which is funny, but you like the simplicity of them?
Yes, I do like simplicity.
But this is Ben's first hot rod, so for everyone out there building a first hot rod, you do a lot of steps through stuff, so it's, to be honest, probably like one of the most badass first hot rods you could possibly own.
Well, basically, yeah, couldn't have you driving one, and I would get a bit jealous.
Yeah, that's true.
So
now we both have 2 Roadsters that are both 29s, both on original 32 frame rails, both from Canada, which is epic. And the cool thing is that we're kind of building them in different eras, but still as like, traditional hot rods. Mine's kind of, at the moment, more of a pre-war or slightly post-war, and this is kind of the direction I think we want to go with it, is maybe like late 50s, early 60s style, which is really cool. So it'll be nice to be able to kind of bomb around in both these and have them parked out the front during summer.
And I'm told mine will be faster than yours.
Oh, unfortunately, it certainly will. We brought in a heap of Rodder's Journals magazines that I've had saved, and lots of hop-up magazines, and we went online, and for probably the last almost 2 years now, we've been talking about a build.
Yeah, I'm kind of guided by you on this a little bit, but I know like the look I like, because I don't really know too much about them, but I definitely know the look that I like, and it's pretty similar to your kind of keep things nice and simple and clean
Yeah.
It won't be
I'd
crazy.
almost say you're more of a
More
simple than
Yeah.
me. Sometimes like you kind of pull me back, where it's probably a good thing because less is definitely more always. What this will probably transform into is 40 Ford wheels. You've always really liked the look of those. Really simple with a nice dish, maybe a set of like lines caps or something. Hood sides. You want it to be clean. Maybe some louvers, maybe not. The body is going to stay like this, correct?
Yep.
You want to leave the paint, which is cool.
Yep, for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just trying to make like a nice dirty hot rod, and similar to sort of like a track style or, you know, early drag car. You do have to drive down a long dirt driveway to your house.
Yeah.
So you'd be scared
Don't
to
want to be
drive
chipping any paint.
Yeah, you'd be scared to drive it open wheeled down that. Maybe like some kind of nice cast stuff, some nice chrome bits here and there, but then overall just leaving it kind of.
Just a smaller detail, like from watching your Roadster come of age, just the smaller details that make it look nice. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Into as well.
And they're my favorite to do.
Yeah.
Second glance.
And you're building it, so.
Second glance. All the bones are there structurally. It's all there. It's got brake lines. It's got kind of everything. It's kind of nice. It's like, you know, say 80% finished, and we get to kind of do the last 20%, which is usually the most tedious bit, being able to kind of transform it into making a really neat roadster that Ben then gets to drive. And
For summer?
Yeah, summer. What's another crazy
August.
deadline?
Let's do it.
Midnight Special 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needs a name.
It does need a name. We have to name it. We name everything. Some people don't like it, but it's nice. Yeah, Combi. We did previous video. We asked for some names, and we got some rippers.
Yeah.
I think that one or two, maybe three that almost might be a pick out of a hat.
Twinkie.
Yeah, Twinkie was a good one. Yeah. There was a few other ones that were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it was great to see the creativity level. I think we needed that because I think we both were just looking at a brick. Well, even that, flying brick, that was another one. I felt like I was staring at a brick wall. I couldn't come up with anything creative. Throughout this process, it's going to be a really neat one. There'll be lots to kind of show, tutorials, and just watching it kind of evolve, but still keeping the profile the same. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and there's going to be a lot more on this, on the Roadster, on the Combi, on the Coupe, probably a bit more on the race car. It's for sale. Race car's still for sale. If anyone wants to buy it in the world, we will help and organize shipping. It's a really cool piece, but we got another idea, and that other idea needs to be funded by that thing.
Please buy it.
So please buy it. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit notifications, and we will be back on another episode. That's gone straight through me.
Hit it.